All right, welcome back. Hopefully, well, I actually kind of listened to my last video on YouTube earlier, and yeah, I thought the audio sounded okay. I actually think it was a little bit better. So, yeah. What to say after that? All right, more decoration stuff. Yeah, again, I don't buy decoration stuff too. I barely use what I have. So I definitely don't buy anything at the cartel market. But if you want to buy some, that's what they got. Until privateer, no. And that is all I got to look at. Actually, I should go check email, shouldn't I? I haven't checked email in a long time. But first I'm going to look specialty goods because I always want to see what vendors are selling. So,
Looking to upgrade your arsenal?
ooh, what does this look like? You know what? Do get rid of the hood, and that's actually kind of cool looking. Head, yeah, I don't want the headgear. Definitely don't want the headgear. Bounty hunters. Gloves, bracers, belts, and yeah, except for the hood, I think that's actually kind of cool. Let's use action. Yeah, I think only the Sith should be wearing hoods, which is kind of weird because most, and I mentioned this before, most of the Sith utilities, most of the Sith, what are Jedi Knight on there? It's weird. Their uniforms, they usually come without hoods. Yeah, no. Although this does work together very well, but not for an agent. Maybe for an undercover agent. Alright, okay, that's enough. I've wasted enough
Good
time.
hunting.
Yeah, you shut up. Okay. I want to check my email, but I don't know where the closest email is. And I feel like I'm wasting my time and I am wasting my time. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this sorted. I don't plan on playing a whole lot today. Maybe about 30 minutes. Where do I need to go? In there, and... Oh, I got 3 spots I need to go, so let's go to Imperial. Okay, let's go to this one. Yep, right there.
Route is confirmed.
So yeah, what I have to do to boost the audio, besides the fact that I went ahead and turned up my microphone, like I said, in the capture program that I use, which if you want to know which screen capture or motion capture program I use, I put it in the notes. I've put it on all the notes whenever on YouTube. But what I end up having to do to fix the audio, or at least increase the audio, because for some reason it just doesn't capture the audio very highly. The volume isn't very high. That's what I should say, not highly. That's a weird word. I think that is a word. I think I made up a word. Wonderful. Is I have to go ahead and strip the audio from the video using one program, and then use another program, boost the audio. It automatically does it, but I have to put inside there and tell it, hey, boost the audio to the highest level it'll go without clipping. What clipping means it goes either above or below the actual sound, which you'll hear like a pop or a hiss or a crackle, or you will hear it not working basically. And then after I'm done with that program, I have to go ahead and put in a third program to put the audio and the video back together. And then I use a fourth program to re-encode everything so so I can cut out the beginning and ending about anywhere from a few seconds to a minute off the beginning and ending of my videos, and to encode it on a lower, to make it a smaller file size, which that's just for my personal use. That's for me keeping it. That's not for YouTube. YouTube, it doesn't matter. You can upload almost any kind of file size, and it'll go ahead and make it whatever it needs for it to work. So, but yeah, there's quite a bit that goes into it. And I know there's probably a program out there, and everything I'm using is free programs, and that's probably why it takes so much. It takes a lot more work and effort because they are free programs. And like I've said many, many, many times, I don't make the money off of this. Otherwise, I'd put more money into it, like getting a better microphone, and so my audio would be better in the first place. That's okay. But yeah, it's just that. It's, I actually had to find it. I'm glad I found out this way. The way I found out how to do this was kind of like testing some old videos that I had, but had some really bad audio on them. But of course, they're old videos and you can't get them anymore. So you can't find a newer copy that's going to sound better because they don't exist anymore. And so, yeah. And a lot of these programs are programs I downloaded years ago and I've used for a long time for other stuff. Like I said, I used to go ahead and, back before stuff was on, everything was on DVD or streaming, I would go and find VHS tapes of things, and I'd make the VHS tapes into video CDs, or when I finally got it, DVDs. When I finally got a DVD writer drive. So I'm kind of used to recoding things and stuff like that, which and again, there's all-in-one software which you can buy now to do most of that stuff, which really makes, I don't know, I kind of don't want the security chest. How bad do I want it? I don't want that bad. Kind of just, I don't know, makes me a little bit mad because I remember whenever you could buy software and it was yours. And yeah, they usually wouldn't patch it and you wouldn't have to worry about it. If you wanted something extra, you'd have to pay for that, but whatever. But you would buy the software and it was yours. And then slowly it creeped in the whole software as a service, where it means that no matter what you buy, you don't buy it anymore, you rent it. Instead of paying $60 for, I don't know, for like Photoshop or something, now you pay $10 a month every month, or $60 a year, and it's like once your subscription's over, you don't get any more. It's like, oh yeah, well, but we also give you updates. Well, yeah. Well, I don't mind the updates, but you guys should give me fixes if you give me software that's not, ready when it goes out. And you should be doing that for free because that's part of the whole, I'm buying a completed product. Unless, of course, I know I'm not buying a completed product, whatever. But yeah, the whole software as a service thing just bothers me. And I realize, yeah, it's because, it's a way of revenue, but it feels like everything's just like, well, even with, video subscription services, they're nice, but everything just feels so temporary. I guess that's the word. You don't own anything. You rent it. And that just kind of bothers me. I hate feeling like that. I hate feeling like I'm renting stuff. I'm not owning anything. Like my money is just constantly going to renting more. And I'm pretty certain. Do I have to go that way? Oh, I should turn the entrance. Okay, I can walk back. Yeah, like I said, you could, and I also understand it also helps prevent piracy, because if you're renting everything, you have to have a key to rent things. You have to be able to, you have to have subscription. You have to have all this stuff. So it's like, okay, well, we can crack down on piracy if, but all at the same time too, it also causes more piracy, because then people like me, I'm not saying I'm pirating things. I'm just saying people like me who think kind of like I do, and they don't like the whole, subscription-based everything, would be looking for stuff that's looking for what was it? They used to be called keygens and stuff like that, where you could crack. They would go ahead and take subscription software, and somebody would hack it, so it didn't require a subscription anymore. Because yeah, it's almost guaranteed. Anytime that somebody finds some kind of way of preventing piracy, you're gonna find more people who are gonna find ways to crack that prevention, and it's really only gonna. It's just gonna punish the people who are actually following the rules in the long run. Kind of like, see, I don't know who's old enough to remember this. Sony at one point, the music company, electronics company, whatever, the owners of Spider-Man, they went ahead to prevent music piracy. They put on their CDs a program. They would automatically install on your computer without your knowledge. Whenever you inserted a CD, whether you ripped it or not, it would automatically insert. Well, it turns out that this program also worked as a nice little backdoor for nefarious people who used it to go ahead and hack into programming to access people's computers. So yeah, kind of made didn't make it worse for them until they were caught, but made it worse for the actual people who were buying the CDs and not the people who are pirating them. And you're always going to have pirates. You're always going to have people who are, unless everything's free, you're always going to have somebody who's going to steal it. That's normal. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way that's the way things work. And I'm not going to go down the, people deserve this and deserve that right now, because that is a whole debate to have. That's not something for me to dictate how people should feel. I feel how I feel, you feel how you feel. I'm not going to dictate it. And I'm hoping I'm going the right way. It feels like I'm not. Speaking of feelings. Yeah, I think I'm going the right way. This kind of reminds me of the one over on Hutta. There's a circular, like, ramp, stairwell thing. Oh, yep, I am going the right way. So, but anyway, that's not what I wrote down. Today I was going to talk about, going back to that place. Okay, so the place that I have the most stories about was a place called the Red Apple Restaurant. It's in Walla Walla. It was in Walla Walla. It shut down, I don't know how many years ago, but it'd been open for a long time. And like I've mentioned in other videos, it was open for it was a 24-hour restaurant. So it would, had a lot going on during the day, and they never closed. In fact, we've had power outage. They had power, I say we, because I worked there for a long time. We felt like a we. I worked there that's the place I got hired on as a dishwasher on 4th of July, and then moved my way up to, kitchen manager eventually, and ended up quitting, but that's another story too. But yeah, I was with them for like 4 years. I want to say almost 4 years. Let's take this to the entrance. Why not? Well, allow me to. Jeez. So it was not only a 24-hour restaurant, but it also allowed smoking. In fact, it was a majority smoking with some areas, with small areas designated not smoking. Which again, like I said, I took up smoking when I worked there. Not at first, it took me a while, but it took me after I went ahead and met, the woman I ended up dating and being with while I was there. And yeah, even with her, it was only for like, I don't think it was a full year I smoked. But yeah, it was a full smoking restaurant. And those are, I don't know if those are even around. I know in Washington State where I live, smoking is no longer allowed in restaurants. I am not certain about it other places in the United States, and definitely not certain about any places around the world. But because it was a 24-hour restaurant and it was smoking, and the owners kind of were running everything on a shoestring budget, it wasn't cleaned that well. And at first, you'd walk in there like, oh, it kind of looks a little dark in here. Of course, it's going to look a little dark, not a whole lot of natural sun, natural light coming in. But it kind of gave you this warm feeling like, oh, it's a little, the walls are a little off-white and, it's a little dark, whatever. Well, one day I got the brilliant idea as a dishwasher, hey, I'm going to wipe the walls down. They look a little dirty. Yeah, I got a little bit into it for realizing the walls are actually white. The paint on the walls is white, but due to all the smoke and the fact that they haven't been cleaned in I don't know how long, they were like a brownish color, and it was very gross. I had to stop it because there was way too much area, and the ceilings were way too tall. I couldn't reach them without a ladder, and they didn't have a ladder. There's a lot of stuff they didn't have. They also didn't have a working hot water. They didn't have a restaurant or commercial grade hot water heater. They had a standard home water heater, which, do I need to go down here? Let me go down here. Maybe I do need to go in here. So for restaurants, they use a lot of hot water. Almost all commercial, especially restaurants, use a lot of hot water. So you need a hot water heater that can meet that demand, correct? Correct. Well, the problem becomes, okay, where am I going? I think maybe I need, okay. Hope I'm going the right way. So the problem becomes having the budget for a hot water heater. And when you're running on a shoestring budget, you don't have the budget for a hot water heater. You have the budget for a regular water heater. In fact, I think they had like what's called a boiler, which was like a gas-powered hot water heater. And it at some point had gone into disrepair, and it had been so badly in disrepair for so long, and it was in the basement, that it flooded and it got all gross, and it would cost way too much money to have it fixed. So what they did is they went ahead and got a cheap hot water heater and hooked it up in the basement. The basement is still flooded, and when it flooded, because it used natural gas, it would blow out the pilot light on the hot water heater. So sometimes we'd lose hot water, and you have to go down the basement and bail out the basement a little bit so you could get to the hot water heater, so you could go ahead and get the pilot light, be able to light it. It was fun. But again, shoestring budget, it's interesting. In fact, we had one of the salesmen came by, because we get salesmen occasionally to try to convince us to go with a certain supplier when it came to food. Because you could pick up a few things at the store, but mostly you went ahead and ordered your food from a supplier. Well, the salesman comes by and he's like, oh, well, what can I do to get you guys your dishwashing machine? Because they have, washing dishes, it's basically not a dishwasher. What is a dish sanitizer, honestly? And you'd rinse the dish, you scrape the dishes off, scrape off any less, food, whatever, waste, rinse them really good, and then throw them in the sanitizer. And the sanitizer would go ahead and do, dish soap, a little bit of bleach, some sanitizing stuff, just basically, and some rinse agent, and that was it. It took a few minutes, and your dishes were usually pretty clean after that, if you had hot water. Normally. But so what the salesman did is he came and he's like, oh, and kind of told him, like, if you really want the contract for this place for this, what you need to do is be able to find sanitizing detergents and products that will work in hot and cold water. because most of this is going to be washed in cold water. And if you're relying on hot water for anything, like, you know, whether it be rinsing the dishes, helping sanitize or anything like that, it's not going to happen. Even the machine itself is not going to, it doesn't automatically warm up the water. So I just got a Jedi robe, didn't I? Yes, I did. And it looks the same on both of us. All right. Ooh, I got money. Didn't notice that before. So yeah, he came up with something. It was pretty good. And then my boss decided to, hey, we could save a lot of money if we go ahead and water down the cleaning solution. Yeah, why would you do that? Go back to the entrance before I take this hollow call. Just so I'm not stuck inside of here when I'm taking it. All right, let's see what they got to say.
Hey, boss, it's us. We got everything from the lab. Park has found us a safe place where we can figure out our next step. Sending coordinates. Meet you there.
Oh, that was easy. But eventually, whenever, around the same time that I end up leaving, I left there, my boss, see, the place was originally owned by a family. It was a mother, father, and their son. Their son got in big trouble, and he was under house arrest, so he wasn't allowed. Something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's something with the gambling commission he got in trouble with. So part of his, he got house arrest, and part of his sentence was you have to stay away from the restaurant. You're not allowed to touch any gambling stuff for, you know, so long, and you have to stay away from the restaurant. Oh, okay, whatever. I mean, he still went back, but he wasn't allowed to touch any gambling stuff. There wasn't a whole lot there. And then the mother and father, they were an older couple, they ended up getting divorced. But they kind of stayed together because they owned the restaurant together. Well, the dad, he ended up leaving. He moved to the Seattle area, actually, to be with his daughter. I mean, him and his ex-wife, they used to fight like crazy. He'd get them around each other, man, they would fight bad. So most of us employees knew that, like, yeah, let's keep them separated. Let's not, if one of them's around, let's not, I mean, they could be amicable, they could, you know, get along for when they needed to, but most of the time, yeah, it was just a lot of fighting. So it was kind of best that he left. And he drank a lot when he was there too, so in fact, almost everybody in that place drank a lot except for me. Because I was underage at first, and after a while, I was like, I'm not a huge drinker. I'm not a huge drinker even now. I mean, I barely drink whatever I haven't had alcohol in over a year. That's because my wife's, you know, but if one of us has to be on the ready at all times, that's the way I see it. You know, if she's not doing good and something happens, one of us has to be ready. And that's me right now until she starts getting better, until she gets fully better, until she recovers. But anyway, going back, I'm telling a long story. I'm getting off a huge tangent here. I'm sorry. I'm almost at 25 minutes also with gameplay. So, yeah, the dad, he left. And I say the dad, but he's like the husband, I should call him more. The ex-husband, he left. So the ex-wife, eventually after a while, she starts seeing another guy. And this guy's really nice guy. I was gonna say, I mean, she could be nice. The ex-wife could be very nice too. So it wasn't like, you know, can't understand why he's with her. I couldn't understand why he's with her. It's like, you're a really nice guy, and you don't seem to have all these hang-ups and stuff. Kind of wondering why you're with her, but, you know, maybe he's seen something in her I didn't see. That happens. And yeah, so one of the things he did is he started helping, you know, repair stuff. 'Cause I think he was like a handyman, or he knew how to do stuff at least. He was not incompetent when it came to tools. And he didn't have a lot of money, so he a lot of elbow grease and working to make the place a lot better. And everybody liked him. That I knew of, at least. I don't know, maybe some people didn't like him and I just didn't know it. But almost everybody liked him. Really nice guy, did a lot for the restaurant. And he didn't have to. I mean, it wasn't like any of this was his. He wasn't going to, marry the ex-wife and get anything because, there wasn't a whole lot to get, honestly. Eventually, after I left there years later, they went and found, they found cockroaches in there, which is, of course, again, something I've mentioned before. Cockroaches in Walla Walla is extremely rare. That's not an environment they normally survive in. You don't usually find them there. So if you have cockroaches, there's a good reason for it. And it's something you should be proud of. But yeah, he tried, fixing the boiler, and I think I don't remember if he eventually got it going though. I think he did. But yeah, he didn't have to, he just did it. Went down and got all the water out of the basement. And that basement would flood constantly. I think there was a pump down there to help keep it from flooding, and that pump got flooded. And that's why it kept flooding, so yeah. He fixed all that. Things started getting much better there. And then I left, and things got worse because sometimes things are just temporary whenever they get better. I'm going to have a cutscene up here, aren't I? Yes.
How many warden droids are still out there?
I told you already.
Tell me again.
Give me the knife. I want to try.
What's going on?
Caught ourselves a guard. Thought we'd have a little fun.
You questioned him?
You don't know much. Guards aren't in good shape between the prisoners and the Imperials coming through.
He helped us with our maps, and I'm security clearance green now.
Think he's probably tapped out. Want me to clean up?
Do I kill him or let him be useful later?
Bind him and lock him up somewhere. Make sure he can't hear us.
Mom always said to save the crumbs. All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's not do a Reservoir Dogs.
Take a look. This is the junk we got from the laboratory. Parkos has been putting things together.
The physical defenses aren't enough. We need to deal with that computer. The Scorpio sanctions.
Is there something you aren't telling me?
I like to learn about the things that attack me. I think the sanctions are a program running in the mega security ward that accesses the rest of the prison. It controls the force field, scanners, all that. Your equipment will only do half the job if the program's still running.
My brother didn't have a slicer when he got himself killed. She might be right.
I'm really good, but I can't disable the program. We need to distract it.
Software isn't easily distracted.
I can take control of the upper-level security droids, override their programming. Then, when we get to the mega security ward, bang. I make the droid set off every alarm in the prison. The Scorpio program gets confused. Gives us a few minutes. At least.
Clever little bird.
You and the guys could upload my overrides into the droids while Parkos and I work. Then we can go in.
You ever look at it? I'm looking at her facial expressions, and I realized this last time too. She just kind of looks like she's not really sure of herself. I don't know if that's a conscious choice that the game makers made or not, but let's see.
Get your gear together. We're going droid hunting.
Get close to each droid and use these computer spikes. They'll stop shooting after, not before. When we've got enough set up, I'll give you a call.
I'm amazed because they make her eyebrows go up, so she kind of looks like she's questioning her decisions rather than, them being level or at least going down. Or looks like she's sure of herself.
Come on.
Come on, what? What? Okay, I'll get over there. But you know what? I have hit my 30 minutes that I said I was going to do today. So, yeah, 30 minutes just rolled by today. So, I'm going to have to stop. I got other stuff I got to do tonight. So, I'm not going to be able to play very long. So, as always, actually, first, let's see the inventory. Yeah, I got to sell some stuff and I find another, but not the moment. Okay, as always, thank you for watching and thank you for listening to my stories. I hope everybody's having a relaxful day. I would say a pleasant day. Relaxful day is good. And that cat that was crying on the back of the last my video, he's right now sleeping on his back on the couch and just happy as a clam. So, thank you for listening. Bye.